Hello, and welcome to ITS Partners webinar, VRX in Action, a live demo of ITS's latest vulnerability response offering. It's my privilege to introduce today's speakers. First, to kick us off, we have Josh Bernson. Josh is our Chief Technology Officer and owner of our VRX offering. And our demo speaker today is Osita Mayfor. Osita has been with ITS for 5 years and is a solutions consultant, and most recently focusing his time on the creation of VRX. Josh, I'll pass it to you to share a little bit more about what VRX is.
Thanks, Rachel. VRX is our prescriptive approach to vulnerability management. Using ServiceNow's vulnerability response application, VRX focuses on the most meaningful actions for remediating vulnerabilities and team enablement. Last time we talked about the features and benefits of VRX. Today we see it in action. Osita, let's dive into VRX.
Thanks, Josh, and thank you all for tuning in. For our demo today, there are 3 roles that I will use. The first role is the vulnerability analyst. With this, I will impersonate Laura Lender, a member of the security team, as I showed the vulnerability manager workspace. The second role is the IT remediator. And for that, I will impersonate Pamela Brotman, who is a member of the Windows Server Support Group, for the demonstration of the IT remediator workspace. To wrap things up, the last role I'll be impersonating is the system administrator, where I will show an admin dashboard that we put together and have found useful for the platform team, as well as the vulnerability response managers to have access to. With all that said, let's get started with the manager workspace. This is your landing page. You have your list of watch topics to the left-hand side. I will explain what watch topics are in a moment. At the bottom left is the Create Watch Topic button. And here in the center are built-in interactive dashboards with reports that show you data based on the watch topic you have selected. At the top right corner is the Create Remediation Task button. More on that as well shortly. Now let's look at how a watch topic is created. Clicking the button brings up this window. ServiceNow's definition of a watch topic are vulnerabilities that are filtered from your imported data according to a specific criteria that might be of particular interest to your organization. This window will be filtering data based on the vulnerable items table, and right below it is your condition builder, which allows you to pick the exact criteria you are looking to capture and manage. Below that is a description field for describing what exactly is in the watch topic. Now that we have seen how a watch topic is created, let's look further into the ITS critical vulnerabilities with exploits available. Starting with the Overview tab, the first report shows us the number of active as well as deferred vulnerable items over time. The report to the right shows a pie chart with a percentage of vulnerable items in the remediation efforts versus those that are not. So as you can see, there are 90% of the vulnerable items are currently in the remediation effort, and the other 10% are not. We will see in a little bit how we can add those into a remediation effort. Moving along to the Vulnerable CIs tab on the dashboard, we can see the number of distinct or different CIs that are affected by vulnerabilities. Over on the right, we are shown the CI classes affected. And as you can see, the Windows Server class carries the majority. Now that we have gone over a few reports, let's go back to the Overview tab and talk about creating a remediation effort. Similar to the Watch Topic button, clicking the remediation effort also brings up a new window. Here you can see the confirmation message stating that there are 23 active vulnerable items that are not part of the remediation effort. Next, the analyst is required to give a description, and at the bottom, they can choose one of 3 options on how they would like the remediation task to be grouped once generated. Or they can elect to have no remediation task created by choosing the last radio button. So this is how a remediation effort is created. Moving along, let's open up an active remediation effort. In here, I would like to draw your attention to the remediation tasks tab, which shows you the number of tasks that are generated for this effort. In this list, you can perform further analysis by hovering over a column like the risk rating or the state, and clicking the ellipsis or the three dots to filter the list to your liking. The other column to pay attention to is the vulnerable items column. It is important to understand that this column is showing you the number of vulnerable items that are still open in the task. Lastly, the column to the right of that is showing you the progress percentage for each task. Now let's open up one of these tasks and dive deeper. Here, the analyst can see the actual progress bar for the remediation task. Below that are details of the task, and to the right are the list of vulnerable items captured in the task. At the top right corner are action buttons available for use. The analyst can choose to mark the task as false positive, split the task, request an exception, resolve the task, or start an investigation on the task. Let's see what an open vulnerable item looks like. In this view, the analyst has more details about the vulnerability, like the threat information. They can also view more details on the configuration item, like who it is assigned to, as well as its installation status. To the far right, the analyst can view the activity log on the record by clicking the Thunderbolt icon to expand the screen. In it, the analyst can see what has been done so far with the record. They have the ability to enter work notes privately to their team or enter a comment that can be viewed as outside of their immediate team. Finally, on the Details tab, I want to draw your attention to the Preferred Solutions field. In this field, the analyst can suggest a preferred method of resolution by selecting a solution out of a pool of potential solutions. We will see how this lines up with the remediator workspace, which I will transition to now. In the landing page of the remediator workspace, the IT remediator has one action, and that is to use the filter drop-down menu, which they can toggle between tasks assigned to them, as well as tasks assigned to their team. To continue the demonstration, I will select the same remediation task I was working with in the manager workspace. Here you can immediately see that both the analyst and the remediator have the same view. They can see the remediation progress bar and the task details on the left, the number of vulnerable items and their states on the right. Above that, they have the same action buttons as well. You will notice an additional button there for creating a new change ticket, or using the arrow beside it to add the task to an existing change ticket. Remediators can use this when they are ready to initiate a patch on the affected configuration items. The last piece I would like to show in this workspace is the Solutions tab. Like the analyst, the IT remediator also has the ability to view the list of potential solutions. However, their focus will be on whether the analyst has suggested a particular solution. If so, it will be available for them in the Preferred Solutions tab. Okay, so we have viewed both the manager and the remediator workspaces. I will now transition back to Laura Lender for a brief walkthrough of the VR overview dashboard. This dashboard is available to all teams within vulnerability response, and its intention is to give a holistic view of the state of the vulnerability environment as teams work in tandem to reduce risk and improve efficiency. The dashboard has different tabs at the top, and each tab contains more specific reports. Above that, there is a filter dropdown that will interact with specific reports on the dashboard, and you can select a specific element to better aid your analysis. Scrolling down to the bottom, you can see two reports that show the workload distribution and trend analysis per remediation team. And this shows us that the Windows Server support team is quite overworked compared to the rest of the other teams. Finally, let's wrap up this presentation by reviewing the VR admin dashboard. I will now impersonate the system administrator for this portion. As a system admin and a member of the platform team, a good portion of your job, aside from maintaining stability of your ServiceNow environment, is to help ensure that other teams across your organization are running successful programs. With that in mind, we created this admin dashboard to give quick view access of important areas of vulnerability response to both the platform and the vulnerability response managers. Focusing on the frequently used tab, you have access to a few list reports like the group role, the data feeds from the National Vulnerability Database, the status of your background jobs, as well as the assignment and remediation task rules that have been configured for VR. On the Scanner Imports tab, you see the number of discovered items by their operating system. The report to the right of that also gives you the discovered items, but grouped by the change management team assigned to each item. And of course, you can always switch up the filter to your specification. Finally, the remaining tabs here will show you the data based on the scanner tool you have in your environment. And so far, we only have data for the Qualys scanner. With the reports on this dashboard, you can quickly check for any errors or discrepancies that may have occurred, and then make any necessary changes as required. This concludes our demo of vulnerability response. Thank you again for joining, and see you in the next one.
Osita, thank you for taking the time to walk us through that. If you want to learn more or schedule a demo, please go to www.itsdelivers.com/VRX, and we will be in touch shortly.